You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. You're checking me out live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at DrewDuncan83. Additionally, you can listen to me live from ksunradio.org. That's ksunradio.org. You want to know what I miss? I miss the Cleveland Browns being a good football team. Because I don't want to say I miss them being relevant, because they're not irrelevant in terms of wins and losses. They are, in terms of publicity, in terms of people know what's going on with the Browns. They're always going to know. So they're not an irrelevant football team in the sense of you don't ever hear about them, because you do. It's just that when you hear about them, it's like, dude, get it together already. I can't deal with you anymore. I need some positive news from Cleveland. Did you know that Deshaun Watson actually wanted to go to the Browns? And did you know that they passed on that dude twice? And now look at what he's doing with Houston. Let's everybody give a moment to give the Browns a round of applause. Now, Kaiser, after being benched for a game, is now back as a starter again. Thought it was a move that was supposed to be for the rest of the season. It's not. I grew up watching the Browns in the 80s. I grew up watching the Browns in the 90s. Am I old enough for 80s football? No. Again, my dad had a lot of stuff on tape. Bernie Kosar, Lorenzo White, Brian Brennan, Ernest Biner, Frank Menefield. It was a good time for Browns fans. Yeah, they lost some really gut-wrenching games, particularly in AFC Championship games to the Denver Broncos. But they were at least a winning football team. And then in the 90s, Eric Metcalf, Vinny Testaverde was there for a little bit. You had some guys on that football team. And the thing about it was, you knew that they were going to win at least 9 or 10 games a year. You knew it. And if you beat them, it was considered a really good win because they were not a slouch football team. Now, though, it just is getting worse by the moment. You know, I love everything there is to love about football, just about. I love uniforms. I love the chess game. I love the competitive nature. I feel like it's a sport that is a man's sport. I love the contact, the physicality, the mental capacity it takes to play this game, the storylines, the players. I just love everything there is to love about it. Learning about new play calling styles and schemes. I just love watching football. On a Saturday or Sunday, I've got my stereo up and I'm listening to the sounds of football, man. Sometimes just having it on in the background is enough for me. It's my, if music didn't exist, it would be my music. The crowd, the thunderous sound of people stomping their feet and the boos and the cheers, everything about it, man. It's just captivating. There's nothing good about this. Maybe when that team was moved and brought back, well, you know, not brought back, but when they were given back the Cleveland Browns, you would have thought that somebody would have looked up and said, okay, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? Where are we going? What direction? Instead, they're changing directions every week, it seems like. It's not even every year. Every week, it's like, well, we're rebuilding. Every day, it's like, well, we're rebuilding. They tried this Moneyball stuff. You know, the epic fail with Brock Osweiler. Way to go, guys. Paying $15 million to a quarterback who's not even on your roster. Good job. You let him go. You start Deshaun. You say, no, we're going to go with Hogan. Then you go back to Kaiser. I just cannot live with it anymore. I can only imagine what it's like to be a diehard Cleveland Browns fan. How do you wake up in the morning not absolutely depressed? What team do you start to rely on when you're a Cleveland Browns fan and the other, and you're not that good? Do you have it within you to become a Bengals fan? Or do you just say, to hell with it and rely on the Ohio State Buckeyes? Because I'm pretty much feeling like that's the direction that you've got to go. Maybe if you want to keep like the same color scheme in your life, you go Bowling Green Falcons. Maybe you're a Toledo grad and you go, well, maybe. I mean, who do you root for right now if you're a Cleveland fan? Do you just say the hell with it and just pick a new team? Like, dude, I think I'm going to start liking the Green Bay Packers. Don't worry, Cleveland Browns fans. You're not bad juju. You're not bad luck. None of it is your fault. You all are the real victims. Just remember that. You're the real victims. And anytime you want to talk about it, Therapist Drew is here for you. I'm right here, man. I'm here to give you a hug. I'm here to be a shoulder to lean on. I'm here to show you that I care. I understand what you're going through. It's okay. You'll get through this. Maybe there's a local high school football team that you can start rooting for that might be good. Maybe you can do that. Ohio's got a pretty good high school atmosphere for football. Try that. Basketball season's coming up really close. For college, it's already started with Cleveland. They've already started with a win. You can still rely on the Cavs. I'm sorry about your baseball team. They were pretty good all year long, but hey, things happen. Everything is going to be all right. You have LeBron James. Remember, you have LeBron James. Everything is going to be okay. Maybe you should try going to bed early. Get some rest. That helps a lot of times with slow depression. Maybe you shouldn't watch the game this weekend. Turn the TV off. Go outside. Do some gardening. Those trees, man. Those trees have needed snip for a while now, bro. Just give them a little snip. How about you find another hobby? Hey, take your wife out on a date. It's probably been a while. Spice it up a little bit. Just tell her to go, get ready, get beautiful. What? Isn't the game on? No, baby. Go get ready. Go get beautiful. Take her out. Maybe you watch the game once or twice a month. Maybe you spend a little bit more time with your kids. Hey, Christmas is coming up. They're going to want some good presents. How about you work a little overtime on Sunday instead? Don't even bother to check the score until you get home. Just, enjoy work. I know work sucks, but it can't be any worse than watching the Browns play and live like this. Just focus in on that harder. Who knows? Maybe your boss will take notice. You could get a promotion. This could actually work out for you, the Browns not being a good football team. You never know. Your wife might remember that you were actually a nice guy once who didn't just watch football all day on Sunday. Well, she's a Browns fan too. Well, maybe that's why she's been cranky. How about you guys have like a little dinner party together? Stay at home with the kids. Everybody cooks a little something. Make the kids feel special. Let them cut up the potatoes or something or mash them down. Here you go. It sounds like fun. Why don't you all go out and get something to eat? I hear they make some bomb chili around there in Ohio. I'm sorry, Cleveland. You still have Drew Carey. Everybody yell, Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. And you still do have LeBron James, by the way. Basketball season is here. You got something to look forward to, man. Because this is an ugly nightmare right now. I want the Cleveland Browns to be a winning football team. I do. Every day I wake up, and I'm not going to front, and I have to, because I follow Cleveland Browns fan pages. I'm a diehard Broncos fan, but I follow Cleveland Browns fan pages. I fell in love with that team when I was real young. I loved the old school, dog pound, get after you, nasty style of football, man. I miss those days. I think some of that mentality is still there. But there's something leadership missing-wise with people who are incapable of making decisions. You went off and you got Deshaun Kaiser for cheap. That's great, but you paid a lot of money to a guy that you still don't have, so you could have had your payday and got Watson anyways and then just taken Osweiler as a backup. I guarantee you he would have done it. But, hindsight is always 20/20. And if you're asking me, well, dude, what would you do if you were the Cleveland Browns? I would stick with somebody. Even if you don't think Deshaun has that big of a future, just stick with him for a couple of years. See what happens. See if maybe you can build some guys around him. I love the idea of playing a collegiate style of football, but the problem is you got to stick with it, and you've got to kind of minimize the playbook a little bit. You can't expect too much out of somebody their first season. I know that there have been guys like Cam Newton and all them that have flourished, but if you look at the play calling, it's actually very simplified, and you just develop that trust, and as you go on, the playbook opens a little more and more and more. Quarterbacks have to learn situational football. They have to learn schemes, blitzes. They have to, always know what they're looking at all times. Everything has got to be memorized. You can't just all have it on a play card. You got somebody in your helmet. You got somebody you're looking at stuff. You're trying to figure out where everything is. Trying to throw the defense off key. Trying to learn terminology. I mean, all this stuff is going on. You got thousands of plays. You just have to take your time with this stuff. And bouncing guys back and forth is just not the way to do it. And I don't understand the mentality right now. Maybe they know something that I don't. But what I do know is you still haven't won a game this season, bro. And even the Giants beat the Broncos. This is the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. I'm live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Drew Duncan 83. And you can listen to me live from the KSunRadio.org. That's KSUNRadio.org. And you can't close your phone while listening on the web because it works basically like an app for you. We will be back right after this. Carmelo Anthony in Rumorville with the New York Knicks taking shots at Phil Jackson. We're going to be discussing that. Obviously, Kansas City Chiefs football is on tap as well as they get set to take on the Oakland Raiders tonight. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.